Welcome to Canada's smallest city. Today we find ourselves in Greenwood, BC. Now Greenwood is a small town in southern interior of British Columbia. Every year I go to a small town about half an hour away from here called Grand Forks, and every year I have to drive through this lovely little quaint town called Greenwood, and every year I've been wanting to come and make a video of this cute little town, but it never worked out. And finally I set aside the time this year to be able to explore Greenwood for ourselves. Now I have only about 5 hours here before I have to hit the road again. All the businesses start closing in 5 hours anyway, so it should time out real well. So first stop, I want to go to the visitor center, which also doubles as the museum, because I've got questions, and what's a better place than to get them answered at the visitor center. Oh wow, this is a lot more extensive than I anticipated. My dudes, there was a mine called the Mother Lode. Check it out. Apparently the Mother Lode mine is the reason Greenwood came into being. It's because of that mine there is a settlement here at all. Sorry, I got something in my eye. This is really fascinating.
Apart from the mining displays, there was also an extensive exhibit dedicated to a darker time in Canada's history, the internment camps. Small recap. During World War II, after Pearl Harbor, the Canadian government issued that all Japanese Canadians on the west coast to be rounded up and sent to internment camps. Greenwood's population at that time was dwindling. When the war was over, the Canadian government didn't want any Japanese Canadians to return. They wanted them to continue east or go back to Japan. The mayor of Greenwood was not about that and offered anyone who wanted to stay could. Obviously, this is a dumbed-down version, but I think it's important to remember, and it was a pivotal point in the survival of Greenwood.
So that place was definitely amazing. If you find yourself in Greenwood, definitely stop at the visitor center and do pay the $5 to go through the museum, because it's big actually, and they have a lot of history, but then also just a lot of displays, and it's it's thorough, and I've been to many visitor centers. I am starving and I'm starting to get the shakes, so let's go to one of the restaurants here in town, and then we'll check out the other businesses before they close, and then we'll go check out the old mine, because apparently you can drive right up to the mine, you can walk around. You can't go inside anymore because it's falling apart, but you can go walk around, so I think that would be really fun, super fascinating. Let's go. So in the late 1800s, early 1900s, during the boom of the mining era of this town, Greenwood decided to incorporate, becoming BC's smallest city. Now, there's other resources saying that it's Canada's smallest city. I've been hearing a lot of either it's BC's smallest city or Canada's smallest city. I don't know what the facts are there, but it's at least BC's smallest city, and it's cute. So that place was cute. It had a lot of pub foods, burgers, fries. I had a wrap. So I'm feeling much better, less shaky. So let's go support local small businesses, shall we? Moral of the story is, anything can be a birdhouse if you want it to be. Just saying. I dig it. I dig it. So that sign says Canada's smallest city. I don't know, someone can fact check me and put it in the comments below. Is it BC's smallest city or is it Canada's smallest city? Because I don't know anymore. Also saying they have the world's best water. I didn't read about this in the museum. I want to know more. Started with water. In 1987, Robert Wood realized the value of water. He founded the city of Greenwood on the confluence of several mountain streams in the heart of British Columbia's boundary region. Also known for their water was the best. The judges at the 2012 Berkeley Springs International Water Tasting Competition agreed. Amazing. They got a whole facade here, like a whole I was just walking along the street and saw this place and walked in, and it's not technically a thrift shop, but they've got so much goodies in here, and it's huge. Oh man. I didn't give myself enough time. I'm so mad. Man, where was this when I was a child? I'm sure I would have loved that. Guatemala. Go watch my videos. Is the facade right here yours as well? Yeah. Like, yeah. What was the original plan for that, or was there one?
There really was none. It was just to cover up. I did the one next door there, not as good, with all the birdhouses on. You see the one there?
Yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah. So I did that one, and then I did this one here, and it was just to cover up different things.
So I just got out of the Copper Creek Country Store, which is sort of like, you know, antiques, some newer things, some older things, just wacky fun stuff. I ended up getting a mug, and that's all I got. But I love this idea. It's a really good idea. So I think it's time. So now that I've eaten and we've explored the town a little bit, I think it's time that we go check out the old mine, the smelter, because why not? We only got so much daylight, and I won't need to do it all. So before we go see the stack, we're gonna go see the Tunnel of Flags, which is like the most popular probably thing to do in Greenwood, because it's right off the highway and you can't miss it when you're driving by. It's like you're about to see. Every year I drive by this tunnel and I have never stopped, because I've always been in such like a gotta get to the destination mood, that I'm so happy that I finally actually get to stop and check this place out. As you guessed it, the tunnel is part of like the copper era, where, you know, is during the gold rush. And over time, as it became redundant, they actually covered it with earth. And then come the year 2000, the Canadian Pacific Railway, they unearthed it and gave it to the city of Greenwood as like a heritage site. And it was painted with around 210 flags were painted all over the tunnel, but obviously now it's covered in graffiti, so. But you know, there you go, that's just the name. Also, if you know how to skateboard, this would be a sick place for a photo. So off the side of the highway, you can see this smokestack, which it was part of like the smelter that was part of the mine that was here in Greenwood. And I'm just sort of like parked probably quite not okay on the side of the road, and then you're supposed to just sort of like futz through the woods until you find it. This might be a little bit harder than anticipated, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure. Once you sort of get into the bushes, the trail is very obvious. We are borderlining private property. I think it's gonna be as respectful as I can be. So really, this is not for just anybody to go and see the stack. You're gonna be doing a little bit of bushwhacking. There are no mark signs. You kind of just have to park and just figure it out. So if you're not prepared to do bushwhacking or some forms of scrambling or climbing or getting dirty and wet, seeing the stack, maybe not for you. It's like very obviously a smokestack that you can see from the highway, yet when you're here in the thicket, I'm like looking for it and like I can't see it, but I think I see some graffiti. So I'm gonna go in that direction. I'll have you know that's not the way. Yeah, don't do what I did. At least now I'm on a distinct trail. Yeah, don't do that. I might have gone the wrong way, but we made it. So there's a road, like literally right next to the tunnel, but I don't know what road it is. I guess you could drive up here, I guess. People don't really want you going in here because the bricks are falling, but let's just make this brief, shall we? So I'm standing at the precipice of the interior of the stack, and you can actually see how at the rim of the stack there is loose brick. So I'm not going to step inside, but listen. Woo! Woo! Well, that was so fun. I've had such a fun day, like learning about this town, you know, all of its history and what have you. It's very rich in its history, and I really like how they've really kept the history, and they're really proud of it, and they display it, and they want everyone to know that like this was like the copper capital of BC, and it's why it's here today, and the reason why it's Canada's smallest city. So happy that I got to see so much of this little town in just a small amount of time. Like, I was here for about 5 hours, and I got to see all the shops, I got to see the stack, I got to see the tunnel, you know. I think that's like a really good amount of time. Obviously, if you want to stay, you can. There's campsites and or motels and what have you. It was a short trip, but I enjoyed every minute of it. So there's one last thing we have to do before we leave Greenwood. Gotta try that water, yo. Okay, I had the water in the rest, but this is before I knew Greenwood had like some of the best water. Here we go. It's good water. Better back hair. Yeah, that's too late. Too late for that. You might be trespassing, I don't know. This is your sign to go watch my Guatemala video. There's the main road right there. Can't see it behind the trees, but it's there. I went in right here. You'll see that there's like a private property right there. But up there by that rock is where I just came out, and there's a way better trail there. So I don't know what you take what you will. I hope it helps.